2020 virtual learning, back to school night. Here we go. Let's start taking a look. Let's get started with our presentation. Wow, that's not the beginning. It's a good start to back to school night right there, huh? Here we go. Presenting for real this time. 5th grade, B203, Mr. Benj's class. The 5th grade teachers, Mr. Benj, Miss Joed, Miss Jeffries, Miss Leung, Miss Proctor, Miss Sill. That is 6 5th grade classes this year. There are a bunch of us, and we are really lucky that our 5th grade team is in great communication with each other, constantly bouncing ideas off one another, so we are really in sync with the way that our classes go together. About me, I'm a 4th year teacher. I'm a wrestling coach at Fallon and Wells Middle School and also at Dublin High School. I've got degrees from all the local colleges, including Las Positas. I went to Chabot, Cal State Stanislaus, that's out in like Modesto, Turlock area, and CSU East Bay is where I got my teaching credential. A shared goal of us 5th grade teachers is to watch your children grow emotionally, behaviorally, and academically. Instructional schedule as of August 24th. So this is like right now. And this is what was kind of decided on by the district along with the Amador staff. So what it looks like is from 8:30 to 9, we're doing class meetings, PE and fine arts. 8:45 to 10:30 is ELA. We have like a recess, brain break from 10:30 to 10:45. 10:45 to 11:30 is like the math time, and from 11:30 till noon, we do read alouds, grammar assessments, a send-off, whatever else we need to fill in for that day that we have time for if we didn't already run out of time. So this time slot right here from 8:30 to noon has been our live Zoom meeting times, and I've been doing outreach after lunchtime to keep in communications with students about assignments and with parents as needed also, but none of those are live. So our live Zoom meetings are between 8:30 and noon, and after that is, what do they call that? Ooh, asynchronous. That's the new word for this year, our fun term for the year, asynchronous learning time, or outreach time. After that, starting September 8th, we are starting the instructional, like our actual academics officially starts according to the district September 8th. Now, 5th grade has decided to start pushing some content a little bit earlier, so we're starting to look at some of our books and everything and practicing our strategies and skills already. However, on September 8th, we are extending the expectations. So 8:30 to 9, class meetings, grammar, PE, fine arts. 8:45 to 10:30 is our ELA block. That's reading, writing. 10:30 to 10:45 is a break. 10:45 to 11:30 is math. 11:30 to noon will be filled with whatever science, social studies, special projects, social, like social health kind of stuff, like building good people kind of stuff, behavioral management kind of stuff would be filled in that time slot too. 12 to 12:30 could be any kinds of reading, read alouds, and grammar. Now guys, this stuff is subject to change depending on the day. Like if something comes up where that's extraordinary, we might have to juggle a lot of these things around, okay? So it's not like set in stone. I'm a very fluid teacher. You have to be, got to react to the new things that come in. Like today, if Zoom crashed today, we got to be flexible and figure out how that's going to change the rest of the schedule. This stuff has to be somewhat loose, but this is the plan. And all the 5th grade teachers are planning on doing the same subjects at the same time. That way, whatever resource teachers need to bounce in, or whatever kids need to bounce out to go get extra learning from a different teacher, or whatever, what have you, whatever variables there are involved in that, they know that the 5th grade team is all on kind of the same pacing throughout the day. 5th grade outcomes for reading by the end of the year. The student should be reading 30 minutes a day outside of the regular school hours. So I'm not giving them the 30 minutes. That means like after lunchtime, 30 minutes is what they should be doing every day. If they do that, they will be able to reach our 1 million word goal that we have for 5th graders by the end of the year. If 5th graders are reading 1 million words by the end of the year, their reading growth will be above expectations. Okay, so that 30 minutes a day will get them to the 1 million word AR word count goal that I set for the 5th graders. We talk about this often in class. I bring up how many words they've reached so far. They could access it on the Renaissance Learning program on their own. and I could pull up documents, the reports to show them in class as well, so they know exactly where they stand at any given time with how many words they've read so far and whether or not they should be reading more or less. Now what that means, students should be reading is a wide variety of books within their ZPD. ZPD might be a new acronym for some of us. It's the Zone of Proximal Development. Lots of fancy mumbo jumbo to say, hey, they're reading books between a 4.1 and a 6.5 is the best. Now 4.1 would be early 4th grade, 6.5 would be middle of 6th grade. So our levels there for the ZPD are pretty standard, right? They're pretty easy to understand. So if they come into the year at a reading between 4.5 and 5.5, that's like the standard expectation, right? They're going to be understanding the books that they're reading between that 4th grade and 5th grade level comfortably. Anything earlier than their ZPD will be a little bit too easy. Anything past that ZPD, if they're rated at a 4.5 to 6.5 and they're reading at a 6.9 level, the book is probably a little bit too frustrating for them to grasp the content perfectly, okay? Yes, they'd be able to read most of the words. Yes, they'd get a lot of the concepts, but they would still be pushing themselves a little bit past the frustration level that is their most efficient learning level. So the ZPD is all about that, like most efficient learning level, what book range they should be reading in. They need a healthy dosage of non-fiction with fiction books. Kids want to read fiction way too much. I get it. It's fun. I like reading fiction. Reading non-fiction can be quite boring, depending on the book you choose, right? So like nobody wants to go read the owner's manual on the refrigerator. That is so boring. But if you don't know how to be able to read, and if you don't have enough practice reading stuff that is a little bit more dry, reading an instruction manual, you'll never be able to do it, right? I say this all the time to my previous classes. Fiction accounts for one subject area, and that's reading, maybe writing, ELA. Nonfiction accounts for all subject areas. You need to be able to read math instructions, science content, history content, non-fictional reading content. Nonfiction applies to way more different subject areas than fiction books do, so you need to get more practice at it. It's not uncommon for a student to be reading 90% fiction and 10% nonfiction until we set them straight. We say, you gotta do more nonfiction. Highly recommend also that we read these Newbery Award winners because that's just high quality books right there. I'm a little bit less strict about it than some of the other teachers are. I'm not gonna track which books they're reading, but it's highly recommended that they do some Newbery winners. Students can answer questions in a claim, evidence, reasoning format. This CER will come up constantly. I've already brought it up with the class on week number 1 of actual content. CER is huge for our class. Claim, evidence, reasoning. Do they know the questions being asked? Can they say it in the claim? Can they give evidence in the form of a quotation to support their thinking? Can they use logic to explain why they chose that quotation? CERs is a backbone for reading response questions in my class. Citing evidence is huge. If you're not citing your quotes, telling where it came from, then it's plagiarism. Another thing that we focus heavily on in my class. We need cited evidence. Some ideas for book resources. Dublin Library, contactless pickup. So that's like not the Alameda County Library, but the Dublin Library. They do contactless pickup. If you reach out to them, you get a library card. You can pick books up. You can get digital copies. Free digital library resources. That was provided by another 5th grade teacher. Haven't used it myself, but there it is. You can also go onto Epic. My class has an Epic code as well, and they have access to that through our Canvas page. And we've been through how to go through that with the students already, so they should know how to access that as well. So again, finding books is going to be difficult this year since we are virtual. I have a bookshelf full of books in my classroom, but since they can't come to my classroom, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find reading material. All right, moving on. 5th grade outcomes for writing. Our goals, multiple paragraph essays for narratives, that's story writing, for informational writing, which is like if you're writing some kind of a speech or you're writing some kind of an argument. Oh, no, that's opinion. Speech is in my head. Sorry, I don't want to get stuck on something. Argumentative essays, that's our opinion writings also. So we got the 3 different kinds: narratives, informational, and opinion, or argumentative essays. Those are going to be our 3 focuses. Each one will get their own trimester, right? So we're doing narratives now. Next will be informational, and after that, argumentative. Students will be provided examples and scoring rubrics to guide their work throughout the way. Where typically how my class does it is we teach it, we practice it, and then at the very end we give them like here's your essay. This is the one worth all the marbles. Typically my class when we're practicing it together, I'll give them like their first essay, and then after that they'll get their second essay. Those 2 essays will combine to get their overall writing outcome for their grade. Plagiarism, some of it got cut off there, right? You have to correctly cite your information, otherwise it's plagiarized. You can't just copy and paste without saying where it came from. You can't put other people's words on your paper without using quotation marks and saying, hey, this is not mine, okay? And we talk about this in class all the time. This will not be confusing to them. I've already mentioned it. Again, like I said, day 2, this was brought up. We're going to continue saying it in class. Plagiarism is huge. Every year when we get to informational writing, I have to have conversations with 1 or 2 students saying, this has way too much stuff, not in your own words, because Google tells me. The internet's amazing, right? I can plug it right into a website and it says, oh, they copied 25%, and these are the sentences that came straight off, and I could put it in the internet, and then it says it. Plus, I know your kid's writing at this point, right? So I've read their work so many times now that I'm starting to see this does not look like 5th grade words. I know 5th grade words. So it stands out. It's really easy to tell nowadays when things have been plagiarized. And again, it happens either intentionally or unintentionally every single year. So I hope we can have those conversations with our students to try and make sure that it's not them. All right. 5th grade outcomes for math. Wow. It's funny how sometimes our focus at Amador is so math heavy. Look at this slide. It is way thicker than the previous slides. But that's just the nature of how it is, right? Knowing how to solve problems is only a small piece. Solve accurately with consistency. Hold on, I'm going to go back to this part. Knowing how to solve problems is only a small piece. I like to say getting the correct answer is only a small piece. If I could give you a complex problem and you say, it's 3, I know the answer is 3, and I'm like, how did you know that? And you're like, stuck? That's what we want to work around in 5th grade. That's what our focus is. I get that you know how to get the correct answer, but that's only a part of the picture here. In 5th grade math, we need to not only solve accurately with consistency, as it says with the next one, but showing our work in a clear and organized way. We need to be able to explain how we arrive to our answers using CER for word problems, using multiple methods to show your knowledge. Okay, these are huge. When you get to test questions in 5th grade, you get multiple questions on those tests that say, tell me how you got that. Or show me multiple ways how you got that. And students might not, or they might get stuck in their comfort zone and just say, oh, I do it this way, this is the only way that works, this is my way, it works for me. And you're like, okay, explain it, and then they can't. It's a huge hurdle for us to get around for 5th grade. And I will heavily push my expectations in the beginning of the year so we can set those strong expectations early. So your students know exactly what I'm looking for. And it might be a bit of a learning curve in the beginning, but they'll live up to those expectations. They do every single year, and they'll grow a lot because of it. Going down the bullet points a little bit more, can use multiple methods, building deeper understanding of how numbers work. Yeah, good number sense when you're delving into multiple methods of solving. Math fluency critical. Okay, so what does that mean? You know your times tables, like your 5 times 7, your 3 times 9. That way when you get to the bigger problems like 29 times 57, that you can do it and not waste so much time going back and counting like, oh, what, I'm skip counting, 9 goes to 18, goes to 20, which one was it, 25, 27? We want to skip those steps. We want to have good math fluency. So practicing those math facts is huge. We got to get good, strong math facts ability and comfort with using the small multiplication so that we can apply it to division, long division, multiplication with decimals, multiplication with fractions. It only gets harder if you don't know your basic facts. Daily notes are accessible at any time. They will always be available to the students. Now what that means is that I have a slideshow set up. We have one as a 5th grade where when notes are taken in one of the classes, they get put onto the slideshow and the kids can access it. Will they access it on their own? I can't force them to. Will they take notes while I'm taking notes in front of them? I can't force them to. I'll try my best, but they're at home, right? It's very difficult, especially in the virtual environment, for me to make sure that they say verbatim the exact notes, or that they don't skip steps, or they're not off in la la land while we're taking math notes, because that's when mistakes are made. So they are accessible at any time, but the students need to hold themselves accountable for making sure they get those notes, and making sure that if they don't get those notes, that they have some accountability and they go back and they find it. Okay, 5th grade outcomes for science and social studies. We need to build understanding through readings, activities, and projects. Okay, science and social studies are very project-based in my class. We get very hands-on with science, at least in the classroom we did. We've already got some experiments in the works right now. Social studies, we've got a new curriculum this year. It's very hands-on also, it seems like. So I'm excited to go explore that some more. I've typically done a lot of projects, like visual projects with social studies, like where they do research, they're putting it on paper, they're making it look pretty, they're also doing some side extension stuff with their posters as well. So I'm excited to see what the students produce in there. Diagrams and illustrations are huge. Yes, we have CER questions here too. They come up nonstop. Short answer multiple choice, short oral retelling of big ideas, yada, yada, yada. Science and social studies. The grades will be made up of projects mostly, quizzes and tests. It's almost like a 50-50, somewhere around that 50-50 mark, okay? So the projects are important in those, and if they've got a quiz coming up, they'll always know. It's never a surprise. They got a test coming up. It's not a surprise. Maybe do some studying, right? We got to work on those study skills. It's huge, because in the past we might have been able to get by going off our memory. Now we actually got to make sure that we actually review our notes. You don't just write them down one time and forget about them, right? Middle school ready. Huge for 5th grade. We want to be middle school ready. 5th grade outcomes for assignments. Students must complete the assignments worked on throughout the day. Okay, so this is a big one. Do we have homework? And I said this to another teacher the other day. I was like, they're always at home. It's all homework. I will typically not say, okay, I haven't taught you any of this, or maybe we worked on this stuff today, you have homework on it. I won't say that, right? We will have classwork. And in the classwork doesn't get done in the 10 minutes that I give them, or the 15 minutes that I give them. Maybe some students got done, but other students needed like 20 more minutes still. That is now your quote-unquote homework. It's your classwork extended past the work hours, right? So school typically is 8 to 3. If our Zoom meeting goes till noon, you might have some classwork that extends towards 1, 2, or 3 o'clock, because that's our classroom day, all right? Completed assignments should reflect their best effort. Guys, the effort is huge. It's big. I'm going to push firm expectations. I've already started it. That way we know we got to try our best. What's the point of doing anything if we're not going to try our best? Assignments need to include first and last name, number, and date. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if your name's not on it, I can't give you credit. Now, in the virtual world, it name stamps them a lot of times, but I don't like it when students will share a document with me and that shared document doesn't have their name on it. If I'm scrolling through a bunch of them, I have no clue who submitted it. So it's good practice to put their name and number in the header as well. Assignments must be turned in to receive credit. Obviously, if you don't turn an assignment, you can't get credit. Missing and late assignments will have a negative impact on the credit given. It is virtual learning. I'm very understanding and flexible, right? I will give an email saying, hey, this is missing, turn it in. If I have to do that 3, 4, 5 times and you keep turning in incomplete work, I'm going to be less forgiving. So I need your stuff to be turned in properly on time. Otherwise, it could be having a negative impact on your grade. Will I be extremely mean about this? I'm not going to be terrible, but you can't just go skipping assignments and turning in a month later. Probably won't accept that. It is the student's responsibility to ask teachers for clarification on assignments. We really need to push independence in 5th grade. If a student is not doing well, I don't want to see parents' emails saying that like, oh, my student did bad, help them. I need to see students emailing me saying, I didn't do as well as I wanted to. Can you help me out? Yes, I can help you. It's not our parents should be motivating our students to be independent and accountable for their own work, right? And so my expectation is that I don't get a million parent emails saying, tell me why he got this bad grade. I want to see that from the kid. Can you please help me get a better grade next time? Yes, totally. Okay. Our students are preparing for middle school. Huge. Got to be middle school ready. Equip them with the communication skills they need. Emailing teachers directly. Just said that. Asking questions and seeking clarification. Yeah. Networking with peers for assistance and clarification as needed. Sometimes we abuse those networking skills. Happens in middle school too, but we got to be working appropriately. Have accountability. Be responsible for due dates. It's very clear on our daily schedule that I post every day with the kids. Turn this into day. Turn this into day. Mr. Benz, what was due yesterday? Did you look at the daily routine? I bet you it's there. We want students to be their own advocates in middle school. This is huge. They have to advocate for themselves. They need that responsibility and that independence. We can't hold them, can't hold their hands forever. Gotta let them fly. Look at those birds. This is perfect. Gotta let those little birdies fly. Leave the nest. Okay. Work environments at home. This is, I push this one heavily. They need to be at a desk or a table, right? Don't let them sit on their bed. I don't want them sitting on their bed. Camera on a stable surface. Yeah, like we don't want the camera falling over. I suggest having a wall or a plain background, non-distracting. Okay, I do not want to see Hawaii in the background behind your kids. I've told this to them. I'm not going to complain if it's a flat white backdrop, but if they're playing with that backdrop by getting their face too close to it, making it distort the image, which happens all the time, I'll tell them to turn it off. Say, get rid of your background. It's distracting. Put them up against the wall if you don't want them seeing what's going on in the household, right? Put them in a bedroom where they're not distracted by everybody walking by, or if brother's getting lunch and he's eating and he's funny. We don't want that, right? So it's good to be away from distractions. As quiet an environment as possible, just like we would be in class. Work areas clean, minimal distractions. Don't have toys at your desk with you. Same thing as if you were in the classroom. Take care of personal needs before class time. Get dressed, eat your breakfast, visit the restroom. Water bottles on hand are totally fine. Right? Have your assignments, your books accessible. Right? I don't want to say pull your workbooks out and then hold on, I gotta call my mom because she's gotta bring it from downstairs. No, have your stuff like ready. Be prepared for your day. Eating breakfast. I'm probably not going to say anything, but we've all seen the funny pictures of like people in Zoom meetings stuffing their face, and it's like, oh, that's not professional at all. Same thing applies to the kids in the classroom, right? We don't want to eat in the Zoom meeting. I don't want to see that. I expect videos to be on, because I'm responsible for your students during this time. So they should have their video on, and we don't want to be seeing them eat the whole time. They get breaks. There's time to eat, and there's a time to be on task. All right, class time expectations, sitting still, facing the camera, active participation. Our time with our students is short and precious. We need our students with us during the instructions. We're not gonna click on this. Miss Leung put together a little slideshow. It's there. Kids know the expectations. Academic growth. Students will be asked to reflect on their learning regularly. AR goals will be updated. Discussing their progress. Are you doing your assignments? Show me your notes. Are you adequately taking your notes? Yes. Show me. Oh, actually, I might have missed this one. Then you should have said that last time. Own it, right? We make mistakes. We own it. Have accountability for your stuff. Student buy-in is crucial. If they don't want to put their best effort into themselves, how are they going to grow? I don't know. What do they want out of their education? Oh, this is a big one. Right? A lot of times we say, oh, I want my kid to go to the best school and this and that. And then I've had conversations in parent conferences where I'm like, you have these expectations for them. Have you talked to them about that? Have these conversations with them, right? Why? Why do you want them to go to this prestigious school? Do they have a career in mind or anything? Or you just want to have that accolade? Went to cool school, right? So have these conversations with them. Get them some goals to work for that they like. Not that we want for them. All right, this is a report from AR. AR has been updated a little bit lately. I'll talk quickly about it. Dates, duh. Ooh, F for NF. That's fiction or nonfiction. Scores on it. This is correct score. This is what a passing score requires. This is a percentage on it. Basically, a 5 out of 10 is an F, right? 4 out of 5 is an 80%. Anything over 70% is passing. Sometimes the books get weird and it's sometimes accepts a 65%. I don't know why, but most of the time 70% is passing on the AR system. It will give them points only if they pass. The points is if it's a 0.5 book, that means it wasn't very long or the words weren't very difficult. 4.5 is probably a little bit longer. The words are getting more difficult. Yeah, ATOS book level. That means average. I don't know what it means, but it means that the average book level that they're reading. If they read all Big Nate series, then their average book level is going to be at like a 4 or something. Get them out of Big Nate, get off of Diary of the Wimpy Kid, start reading advanced books because that's how you grow, right? Maybe they'll have like one 6.2 in there and a bunch of 4.5s. We want their average book level to be in the mid. Right now, early 5th grade could be lower 5s. Halfway through the year, middle 5s. End of the year, upper 5s to 6s for their average book level, okay? Let's stop practicing with books that are too easy for us. All right. Communication. You can email me at benjdarian@dublinusd.org. Students' emails will be responded to promptly during school hours. Parent emails will be responded within 2 days. Typically, I get to parent emails within 2 days. I mean, obviously, if it's not something that I need to respond to, like, hey, my student's not there today, then I'm not going to respond. I'm like, okay, cool, they're not there today. Please do not call the classroom phones. I don't even know if mine is plugged in right now. They unplugged it over the summer. Yeah, because not even all the teachers don't even go to the classroom all the time. I like being in the classroom, so I might be there, but I do not answer calls, especially during class. Yeah, what a distraction. Okay, not to mention, I don't think there's a voicemail set up on my phone. Email's the way to go. Email me. Okay, fall conferences. Between September 21st and 25th, I will send out schedules as the time gets closer. If you have questions, here is a bit.ly. You can put questions on and we will try and respond to the questions of that bit.ly. This is like all parents of 5th grade combined. So the teachers are going to work together to respond to some of these emails. Okay. Thank you for coming. I look forward to partnering with you to give your child an amazing and productive 5th grade year. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun already. We're going to get 5th grade ready. We're going to be independent students. We're going to take care of our business. We're going to be growing socially as much as we are academically, because we are a strong academic group already. We got to start building those personal skills as well. Real quick, we're going to go over to Canvas. Okay, Canvas is where this has been posted, so hopefully you got in there. It's where the kids always work. Notice this. This is the big issue with Zoom. If this is not the right profile, you need to change it to their school profile. I have to do this every time with my personal computer. So I had to change that every time. It's annoying. I scroll down to find my Canvas right here. There it is. Yeah. There I am, logging in, and my Canvas page. Boom. There it is. Grades. Parents wonder about assignments, right? If I gave them something and they completed it, if it hasn't been like, I think other teachers said 2 weeks. If it hasn't been 2 weeks since it's been submitted yet, don't email me because there's a lot of stuff, right? I'll let the students know. They could ask me a quick question during the Zoom meeting, but it takes a long time to grade every single thing that all 30 students do throughout the day. There's a lot of checking in on assignments. If it's essays, they take forever to grade. So when things are in here, you could check to see it's been marked as completed or not. Check to see what their scores are. Check to see if it's big, bright red saying missing, your student turned nothing in. Okay, so follow up with them. You guys can log in as a parent, an observer, or you could have them show you by logging in front of you. Both works great. This is where they access their stuff, right here. Assignments, pages, quizzes, yada, yada, yada. It's a little bit mind-boggling, but the kids are starting to get good at it, okay? Their daily routine is here. They could do unfinished work. Here's our Zoom call. Digital external tools for when they're finished with all their stuff. What do I do next? Oh, you can do all this stuff. It's all on there. Clever, Epic, quizzes, extra math, multiplication.com, iExcel, it's there. Class Dojo, I do use Dojo to give out points. I give some kinds of rewards for how well they're doing. You can also track to see like whether they're losing points or gaining points in the class. Mostly gaining this year. I don't think I've taken too many points except for students who are doing something silly. Let's click the button to get where you need to go. There it is. Lovely. And here's our daily routine. Look, that's what we just did today. There it is. Down here is stuff that needs to be turned in for this day. If you wanted to see previous days, what's been done in the previous days, you have to find a different page where I've been downloading them also. But it's laid out just like that with links that they click on to work on. And it's that easy. There's no getting lost. I'm going to click view all pages to see here's last week's. There it is. Also accessible to them. And when they scroll down, they can see Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, all the way to Monday. There it was. You see everything that we do throughout the day. If your student has Zoom issues, this is your saving grace. Okay? They can just log on to here and see what they're doing. Okay, with that being said, I think that's just about everything for Canvas. Let me get back to my homepage. I don't think I really missed anything. I'm going to be updating it with this thing that I just created for you, this video. I look forward to seeing you guys all at parent conferences. It's going to be good. Have a great year.